Coming at you live and on demand from the heart of Europe, this is the most badass hockey podcast in all the known land. Not only coming from YouTube, but Twitch, and now Justin TV. We're trying it. I don't know if my computer can handle it, but we're going to do it fucking anyway. That's right. This week on the most badass hockey podcast in all the land, we're going over the NHL playoffs, and we have special guest Joe Cronin to the Joe Cronin Show to talk specifically about his Boston Bruins. Jake has the week off. Happy Mother's Day. He prioritizes his mother more than this show. Can you believe that? What do you think of that, Joe?
Disgusting.
That is repulsive. That is repulsive. Did you blow off your mother to do the show?
No, I went out shopping earlier and bought a bunch of stuff and came home. And I
How are you?
Reused bags, like Christmas bags and Valentine's Day bags.
What? Did you get her anything at least?
Yeah, a couple little things.
Did you? Did you get her like a Joe Cronin pillow?
I should have done that. That would have been a great idea. I didn't think of that though.
Should have sent her a shot from the point T-shirt. Joe, welcome to the show, buddy. Welcome.
Glad
welcome
to be
aboard.
ready to go.
I'm glad you could be here. We're going to talk about those Rangers. We're going to talk the Bruins, and then we're going to go into the week in NHL news. I guess the first thing I want to talk about. I mean, this just came over the wire. One of your guys, Sean Thornton, just got a suspension for.
No, he didn't get suspended.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, he got a fine for throwing water on PK Subban. What did you think of that whole incident? What have you?
I just think he was, it's Sean Thornton. Part of his role is kind of being a dick. I mean, I will say that this year, Sean Thornton's done two of the most sort of un-Thornton-y things, which is like, normally he is not the one that would do something that's, he does step over the line because that's his role, to be an enforcer and to be a little bit, over the line or on the line. But usually Marchand's someone that would do something like this. So I'm a little bit surprised to see him do it. However, I thought it was a little funny thing that he did. PK rubs a lot of things in our faces,
sure.
So he just kind of did a little squirt, and I think it's good that he got fined. I think it was good that he did it. I don't mind that he did it. Mm-hmm. I just think that
he's taking one for the
talked
team
about that much. It's something that happens a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's where it opens and closes or what have you. So there's no outrage in Boston. How the rest of you guys.
So.
No, I don't think it's. Well, no. I mean, look,
it is.
You got to act somewhat professional.
What did Lucic get fined for sticking that guy in the nuts?
Oh, God, I mean,
I don't remember what it was. It was like 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, something like that. What do you think about, speaking of Lucic, I'm going to beat up your Boston Bruins a little bit. As much as I like them, and they are in my pool, so I'm not definitely biased toward them. We live in an age of what I think sometimes concussion hysteria, but I do like some of the things they do to protect these guys' heads. In the early 90s, a lot of it was stick swinging. We're trying to crack down on stick swinging. Do you think that Milan Lucic is kind of getting away with these things and not getting suspended and getting fines?
Yeah. I had thought in previous Bruins seasons that he had. For instance, one thing I can remember, and this is back in a game against Tampa Bay towards the end of the season, but this guy took a cheap shot at Nathan Horton. And after that, he skated in, and Nathan Horton waffled him. And then some other guy came in to tool Horton, and instead Lucic cut him off and then cross-checked him in the face.
Oof.
And the guy just fell over, and nothing ever happened from that. But, I've actually seen the Bruins get away with using force that if somebody else had really done it, it would be a problem. However, I believe that in these cases, it almost seems like on every one of these cases, the referees knew why it happened. Because the referee saw what initiated it originally. So the referee kind of let the guy get away with the dirty sleevey play, the little scummy play. Mm-hmm. But then he also let the Bruins get away, with excessive force. Well, I would call it.
It's funny you mention that. It's something that I always believe since I've been watching the game, and hockey is such a difficult game to ref, and it's so subjective. Kerry Frazier, I think last year told or said, and Greg Wyshynski reported it, that referees actually make makeup calls. So if they blow a call earlier, they'll. You ever see this happen? Your guy gets a penalty, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And then 10 minutes, like a good 10, 15 seconds into the next play, the other team will take a soft penalty right after that. I've seen it 1,000 times.
It happened in the game the other day to both teams in different situations. I noticed it, what it was the referees had to call something or just instinctively called something and went, well, maybe after the fact they just kind of went, well, we probably shouldn't have called that, but it happened in the moment and I blew the whistle. So now they've heightened their awareness to if anything equal to that happens on the other side now, they're looking to call it. And also you'll notice that, and this is inconsistent, this is what drives me nuts about 5-on-3 sometimes, is sometimes the other team gets away with just doing something horrific, but they don't want to call another penalty.
I've noticed that myself. That's been going on a long time. Yeah, because once you're down 5-on-3, that should be a guaranteed goal. And then, one of the penalty killers does something completely insane or something extremely blatant. And then they just kind of, look the other way. It's almost
now,
like...
This worked in the Bruins' favor a lot. They would get away with just waffling people because they were the refs were. This is usually when a penalty was called that was borderline on the Bruins, and you could see that the refs weren't going to call another one. So the Bruins would get away with, just slash someone, shove someone, cross-check someone, hook someone, and they would get away with it because in the first place there probably shouldn't have been a penalty. But I've also seen games and this goes with any team. It's just that so happens I'm talking about the Bruins. The next game, you could see a game where the guy gets called to the box for a questionable call, but then 2 minutes later, there's another one, like a second of a hook, or the guy holds a Bruin stick and he's trying to pull it out of him, and then they call the Bruin guy for hooking him, and it's like, well, now it's a 5-on-3 and it's enraging.
Yeah.
So it's all subjective, like you said. You never know really what's going to happen.
I believe that the referees do their absolute best every time. I don't think they may not like certain coaches and certain players and things like that, which is probably just human. But I honestly believe that every referee, and maybe I'm naive for thinking that, does their absolute best and tries to call it the best way possible. And I think you pointing out just before, all right, here's a situation where they're obviously trying to make up for a call. I don't even mind them being open about that. They're doing the best they can. They want a fair result. They don't want anybody to get screwed. And I think they do go out of their way to certain. And sometimes they blow it because they're human beings and they screw things up. I'm not one of these guys that screams at the referees. Are they going to blow calls? You mean to tell me if you were out there, you big fucking blowhard hockey fans, if you were out there, you wouldn't blow one call over a 20-year career? You would. You absolutely would.
I know they blow calls, but I think it's just
biased?
part of the thing to get caught up in the moment and to think that they're against your team. I have no issue with how they've called, for the most part, how they've called the Montreal Bruins series.
No,
I think that it's been equal. The refs haven't been. We're all looking for it in Boston. Like, here we go with the refs in Montreal and them diving. But actually, it's been pretty equal. And it amazes me how equal the two teams are, by the way, with everything they do. Both teams, the Bruins have incorporated a little more of the style of some of the other NHL teams. Like, the Bruins aren't doing the big bad, beat them up and knock them down anymore. They have that still, but not as much. They've actually incorporated some of the, I don't want to say diving, but some of the guys go down similar to the Montreal guys. And we have our Marchand, they have PK Subban, and that other guy, Weiss or Gallagher, whichever one. One of them's a bitch.
Weiss. He actually, remember, he was on Vancouver a couple years ago, tried to coax Thornton into a fight and then dipped out, thinking that other guy, one guy would get the 5-minute major. And there's another example. The referee called them both a roughing or delay a game or something of that nature. I wouldn't want to say that either. I don't think the Bruins are engaging in diving, but I don't think a Basham style in this series, considering how much Montreal's improved, which they've clearly shown whether they win the series or not. I don't think that's going to work against these guys, because if you're running around taking penalties, like it or not, PK Subban has one of the sweetest slap shots in the game. And if you're going to give this guy shots from the point over and over again, they're going to go past Tuukka Rask as good as he is. So I think maybe changing things up, maybe playing a straightforward game. Hey, we've seen periods in this series that have no penalties whatsoever. And it has been a well-played series. I do think Boston's going to edge them out. I don't know if they're going to close it up. What do you guys play tomorrow, right? I don't think you guys are going to close it up tomorrow.
I just feel like there's a 7 coming on here.
I think there's an epic game there, and it just smells of overtime already, and I think that's what's going on here. I like to see that because it doesn't affect me one way or another because I think the Rangers will have a trouble with it. Something tells me they would have a better chance against the Montreal, but I'd rather play Montreal than Boston. But I think it's just like you said, a longtime Boston Bruins fan. This is not a team of 2 years ago that didn't make the playoffs. This isn't even a team that looks like last year. This is a very good team, and it seems to be led by PK Subban. Yeah, he's an agitator, but he is just. How many plays have you seen him come back and break them up, or even his defensive work? How many times have you seen him skate back, break a big play up, get real pumped, get his other players into it? Not just shots from the point. He's all over the place.
This guy, if he stays there, if he stays in Montreal, he will be captain at some point.
If he was, he's probably got to tone it down a little bit. But you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Does it kill you to have to say nice things about PK?
I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I hate him when we're playing. But I'm not delusional. Like I'm not gonna. I hate people that are delusional. That on in just hockey comments and Montreal fans and even either way. You're especially they are. They're really delusional over there. PK Subban is like kidding me. Like the game's pretty much over and he's calling for the puck. And what he did last night, it was crazy. That's exactly what I would want on my team.
Yeah.
And he's turning the corner a little bit. He has less of the slimy play going on and more of the beast mode, as I called it.
Oh yeah.
And so that just makes you more respectful of him because of that. So there's nothing I can say. I mean, meanwhile, Marsh on the Bruins is kind of going the other way. His skill is something's wrong with it right now. He's stuck. So he's being slimy, and that's all he has right now. So I can see how Montreal would really hate him. Meanwhile, I did see PK do some Looney Tunes fall the other day that was to draw a penalty, and he drew it, and they got the penalty call. When Barkowski was holding on to him, or somebody was holding on to somebody, and then he just did this whoop, 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 and then threw himself up in the air. That's why I hate PK Subban, because I don't like that he throws himself up in the air on purpose to get
that's disgusting. Moving on with the other series, I don't know how much attention you've been paying to the other series. One of the themes, I'm looking at this. Chicago goes up by 2 with Minnesota. Now they're tied 2. LA goes up on 2 on Anaheim. Now they're tied 2. The Boston series has been back and forth. To a lesser extent, even the New York Rangers are trying to climb themselves out of a 3-1 hole. Now Pittsburgh leads the series 3-2 heading into New York. One of the things that really gets me, and I'm a big guy for not playing too many. If you want to be a Stanley Cup champion, you can't be playing too many games in the first and second round. That is obviously not going to be it wasn't the case last round, and it's not going to be the case this round. Nobody, with the possible exception of Los Angeles, who's just dropped 2 games in a row, has really come out and said, "Holy crap, they're going to win the Stanley Cup." At least at this point. No one out there is dominant. Everybody is struggling. Does that say something about the depth of the league, or is it just everybody is playing out of their minds right now because it's Stanley Cup playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Tight series and stuff like that, but also the quality of the teams. Like, Minnesota raised their game. Maybe Chicago's games dropped a little bit, but even Chicago, after that Chicago team that we saw last year win it, them dropping their game a little bit. You would expect them to be there still because they were that good last year. And so everyone's still in it. And that's what we're seeing. I think it's all evening around now. I think Anaheim's in trouble with Gibson having to start Game 5 or whatever. That could be their downfall, or they could go the other way. I don't know. Now they've lost the last 2, right? Or is it the Kings that have dropped the last 2? Because I watched them all.
Kings dropped 2 in a row.
Okay, because I watched the replay on NHL Network of the Kings and Ducks because we don't get that over here, so I have to go watch them again, and I think I watched them all out of order, so I'm like confused about how things have happened, but I know what happened. So you have the Ducks series. I mean, I'm looking at the rain, and I'm looking at all of these series, and I'm just like, with the exception of Minnesota, because I don't think they have it, and possibly the New York Rangers, because I don't think a Stanley Cup champion goes
down 3-1 to this kind of Pittsburgh team. Besides those two teams, any one of these teams, Montreal, Boston, Los Angeles, Anaheim, and Chicago.
I even think Pittsburgh is a little bit. I think they're mentally just not ready for it.
Yeah, I don't. But I will say this: one of the reasons, and I hate to say this, but Pierre McGuire sort of pointed this out. I think one of the reasons the Rangers have struggled as much as they had with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is doing something different. They're clogging up at the neutral zone. They have owned the neutral zone throughout this entire series. I think the Rangers were mentally prepared to go up against a Pittsburgh team that runs their offense through Crosby and Malkin and just pushes it through. And they were ready with their guys, with the McDonoughs and the Girardis and the Stallmans and all those and Stahl and they were ready for that type of offensive punch. They didn't get it. They found a very sort of a little more conservative defense. The turnaround, especially from the first round, from one Chris Letang, who had a stroke earlier in the year. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. This guy is really starting to turn it around. He's one of my I think he's the only player that is palatable as far as character goes, at least my opinion personally, in Pittsburgh. And they're doing it all without Sidney Crosby being anything of a factor in the last two games. So I think that's where they might not be mentally. They seem to have a mental kind of remake in this particular series. Yeah. And I mean, hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, you would have thought that Crosby would have to be firing on all cylinders. That being said, what's with Sidney right now?
What's with Sidney?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mental.
Speculate.
The guy goes mental. I mean, you know what I mean? He's got doubt in his game. You know, ever since coming back from the concussion, you know, everything seemed okay after that. But he's got chemistry. I think it's all about chemistry with them. When they're firing on all cylinders, they could be the best, but there's something mental lacking there because they have the skill. So it's something with coaching or mental. It's but then again, they're in the playoffs. You know, they're in the series. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll. I feel that while we talk about them being mental, they have won before. So it's one of those things that I feel like they are unbalanced right now, and this is going on. The longer it goes on, the more we're going to talk about it until they finally win something again.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is funny because it's what have you done for me lately? But it's been going on a while now, and you know, they could snap out of it at any time, and that's what's dangerous about the Penguins with the skill set. That's Fleury in net. He could be the good Fleury. We don't know who we're going to get.
No, we don't know who we're going to get.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Who do you think? I mean, and I want to bring this up, especially because of NBC's broadcasting, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Who do you think is the number one goalie right now in the playoffs?
I think it's sort of a reflection on sort of what I was talking before, that nobody's really standing out. And
who do you think has the best
no team is really standing out as being just dominant. And now that you put it to me that way, Tuukka, maybe?
Tuukka Rask leads the entire NHL with a goals against average of 1.70.
Sure. Okay, but
you know who number two is?
What's that?
You know who number two is?
Lundqvist.
Actually, no, he's number three. Kemper from Minnesota is 203, and Lundqvist is 216.
Kemper, correct. And did he even play the last two games? Because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he doesn't count really, but
he doesn't. Well, yeah, he didn't play the last two games. Briskalov managed to scrap a shutout,
right?
Which is completely amazing because I honestly believe the guy's through. But I mean, that's another mental issue from another planet.
I bring this up because NBC has almost got Carey Price's crotch pulled down. And they mentioned that Carey Price is performing so well and so unbelievably good. I don't see it that way. I see Carey Price as, it goes both ways. The Bruins have missed 3 empty nets, and they've hit about 9 posts on this guy, where somebody should have scored about half of those. And the empty nets, they should have buried 100%. He's not playing out of his mind. He's not the best goalie. I think he's the best goalie in the playoffs right now. You know, Pierre. You know,
but who's standing on their head? I mean, who do you feel is standing on their head? I don't see a goalie that's standing on their head. Not Jonathan Quick.
No.
I mean, they're having goalie issues in Anaheim right now. They put that rookie in. They're taking Jonas Hiller out.
My point is, NBC is constantly mentioning Carey Price they're going off on a tangent on Carey Price.
Oh,
He's the greatest thing. If you asked me based on the coverage of the games, and I didn't know too much about stats and what really was going on, I'd be like, this Carey Price guy's the best goalie in the league. This is unbelievable.
Well, you know why?
You know who leads in goals against? Tuukka. You know who leads in save percentage? Tuukka. You know who leads in wins? Tuukka. You know who leads in shutouts? Tuukka.
You know who's behind the glass? Pierre McGuire from Montreal.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that answers your question right there. I mean, yes.
Even Lundqvist. Lundqvist is better.
Yeah.
Number-wise, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is...
Sure. Okay. Then I misunderstood. You're going about the NBC reporting. I got to be honest with you. You know, I battle with reporters all the time. Had them on the show before. I don't take anything they say seriously. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all subjective. And let's face it. And interesting note, when Carey Price was drafted, I think Pierre McGuire had a heart attack on the microphone, an epic heart attack, saying they shouldn't have drafted him. This is a bad move for the Montreal. I get the feeling that Pierre is a Montreal Canadiens fan, and he's not one of these guys that can kind of look. Pierre, there is no filter with Pierre McGuire. It just comes out, you know, and that's why
sucks too.
And he's painting a picture that isn't there. But you know what else is new, Joe? Yeah, Tuukka. Yeah, you asked me. You put me a question. I don't think Tuukka's played very well. Tuukka's played.
I'm not saying that Tuukka's better than everyone else. I'm saying he's leading in all the stats, but all they talk about is Carey Price.
They're talking about is Carey Price. Well, you know what? There's a guy behind the glass that has a hell of a lot of influence in broadcasting and NBC, and he's a big Montreal Canadiens fan. That's it.
Well, the whole broadcast sounds like I'm gonna be impartial here. When the Bruins won the Stanley Cup, coincidentally enough, now they won. Somebody was like, "Well, the NHL wanted a Bruins Cup, that's why they won." But actually, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm sure that was true to an extent, but I mean, they did win the cup fair and square.
But the Bruins won in Game 7s and like overtimes, 3 overtime Game 7s, and the puck found its way into the net, so they couldn't plan that out. But it was clear that the NBC crew, at least, was sucking the Bruins Johnsons. I mean, the whole time. But so like when the Vancouver player bit one of the Bruins, when Jim Thomas makes the check on the Sedin or whoever it was, you know, they were just all in favor. Nobody said you can't do that or what's that. You know, they were like, what an unbelievable check by Thomas. You know, there was no questioning it. They were all on board for the Bruins. I feel like they are raging for a Montreal Cup this time around.
Yeah, could be.
Just the way the broadcast is. I felt it when the Bruins were doing it. I was like, wow, the broadcasters are being really cool to us, I've noticed. And if I was the other team, I mean, everything was going our way. Even the refs in the Montreal series with the Bruins, they called things for the Bruins that you never seen before. You were ready to go in, and here comes the referees, and they're against us, and this is going to be nuts. And it didn't happen. And it was amazing. I was like, I can't believe there wasn't anything controversial with the referees. That's usually how it goes. And then the crew was on. It was just weird. I thought maybe it was because we were an American team and they were Montreal.
Well, it is an American broadcast. I think it just comes down to the simple fact that at the end of the day, this is a hockey game. It's played by kids on the ice, and you know, we all have our favorites and then people we don't like so much, and it's impossible for human beings to call it straight. And they're going to promote, and they're going to talk about who they like. I mean, Jesus, Pierre McGuire drools over Brian McDonough every time he's on. Oh, Ryan McDonough. He's replaced Jonathan Toews as an Astelic. But, I mean, I don't know how much that matters, because at the end of the day, the Boston Bruins are going to win the Cup if they're the best team and they find a way to overcome and eliminate the other teams they come up. So, I wouldn't really give that all that much... I wouldn't even think about it too much. There's nothing you could do. You just got to sit there and hold your nose and close your ears when Pierre McGuire is all over what's his face is all over.
Pierre's a lot better when Doc and Eddie Olchuk are there. That whole crew is great together.
I think all three of them are bad. I you know what, I hated Pierre initially. I really couldn't stand Pierre all that much. But that being said, you know, his knowledge, it's almost comical I mean, you could see why he made it in the NHL, which I couldn't. His scouting knowledge. I mean, he's like a mathematician. He knows where all these guys came from college. He knows the junior rivalries. He knows that stuff. This is a guy that Scotty Bowman put under his wing when he was at Pittsburgh for a reason.
Yeah.
But he's
no,
really,
I don't. You know what? I really do like him.
I started to like him.
It's
because he's
you know
knowledgeable.
what? You're gonna like and hate him because what it is I really do believe that I don't actually believe that he's one-sided all the time.
Not all the time.
I think that it shifts. It goes back and forth. And when you're trying to call a game impartial, you're gonna piss everyone off eventually.
Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, you know that from your shows, whether it be wrestling.
I mean, I don't. I'm ranting my. I'm venting my frustrations with him recently, but also comparing it to him in the past when he wanted to blow the Bruins. You know what I mean? So it's he wanted to blow the Bruins in the Montreal series when the Bruins won the Cup in 11. So that's what I mean. Like it goes both ways, and that's why it seemed they wanted the Bruins to win that when they were like in love with the Bruins. It's not going to
make or break your team. It's not going to make or break your team.
But it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. The thing is, I think what the thing is, Pierre gets a lot of attention. And let's face it, he's strange looking, and he's very awkward. All you have to do is search YouTube for Pierre McGuire moments, the things he's said, the strange things he's done, the way he talks, the opinions that he has. He's just a very sort of awkward guy. He's sort of like that guy in your baseball team that sucked, that knew everybody's statistics. You know, that's where I you know.
Guys, I mean, it's Jack Edwards too. I mean, Jack Edwards is the same way. Jack Edwards knows all these stats and all these things, but he's awkward.
Yeah. Hey, oh, come on. Do you don't think
awkward too? I sit in a hockey. I sit in a hockey locker room. It's awkward.
Pierre actually played in the Devil's Farm system. So, I mean, he did have, something there. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to deny Pierre's passion for the game. I mean, and I think it's just impossible to not be biased. I think it's just impossible for these guys. I mean, and people will go out of their way to defend that bias, even if they're shown that, look, you said one thing here and you did another thing here. And they'll just toe the line and say, no, I didn't, even though it's in writing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's little or nothing you could do about good old Pierre McGuire. And I got to be honest with you, like you said, I love seeing all three of them. I think they do a great job. I love Doc. I love when Pierre is not giving his opinions on the state of the league. I love him when he's telling me what's going on, what those guys are saying to each other, what the coach is doing, what their plan is. He's insightful. He knows what's going on. He sees the little things you can't see from television and lets you know what's going on. And I think that's the most interesting because I want to learn about the game above what I see on the TV. I want to learn about the game on the perspective and the way the players see it. And I can't get that from Puck Daddy, a bunch of snarky college kids. I can get that from Pierre McGuire. And in fairness, Pierre McGuire did play minor league hockey. So he knows, Now,
I mean, just like last night, Sean Thornton, something happened and PK Subban's losing his mind. I'm thinking maybe Thornton, somebody poked him with a stick as he went by or something. Mm-hmm. And he goes, Sean Thornton just water bottled PK Subban down here. That's what he's so mad about. And you're like, okay. So you're right. The little things on the bench.
Little things.
Somebody got hurt and then he said, says he's okay. He says he's okay to go. And it must be creepy for the players because whoever that player was that was injured that was sitting down and then seemed okay. Oh, it was Boychuk when he got the stick in the throat.
Yeah.
And Pierre McGuire peeked his head around the glass. So Boychuk sitting on the end of the bench he looked like a dinosaur reaching his neck around. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then Boychuk's like, "I'm all right." He's like, he says he's okay. It's like, but the players are just like, "The fuck out of here, Pierre."
He says he's okay.
Like he's just leeching around down there, leaning in on their bench.
Do you know Pierre's real name is not Pierre? It's Regis.
Yeah, he told me it was Regis the other day. Yeah, like Regis Kelly.
And I'm probably gonna. I'll leave that for later. It's in the news, but there was a player kicked out of a Pittsburgh Penguins game recently. I forget which game against the Rangers. I guess it would have been game. It would have been game 2, I think. And he had a picture of Pierre, and he wrote Regis on his head. And the NHL asked the Pittsburgh security to have him removed, even though he was a season ticket holder. And they had him removed. Yeah, that is a little bizarre, but there are people that are reporting that the guy was, saying stuff about his family and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, then there's...
Yeah, it's another one.
Like the time
Who's that? Who's that? Is it the baby?
I mean, what happened to... I don't know, that's... I guess it depends how much stuff. I mean, if you're going to yell about personal stuff about the guy's family to somebody who has power to probably get you removed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I guess
I don't know if I don't know if Pierre had him removed, but maybe NBC had him removed for all they don't want to know that he's Regis.
yeah, keep that secret a secret.
I mean,
what about? No, I was gonna say is that was like the time. There's been a couple times where I've been in a game and I've done that, and the player just looks at you like, "What the hell? How do they know that? How's this guy bringing this up?" I think it was one of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he did something really dirty in the game, and he came back on the bench, and I remembered that he had just had some kind of cancer thing, and I get back to the bench, and I said, hey, I think I yelled at him. I said, go back to the hospital, and I named the hospital. Like I yelled out the name of the hospital.
Oh,
and he literally just turned and looked at me like, what the hell? What the fuck was that? Like, why? Why did you say that? And I was like, yeah, that's right. You're going to get it again. Like, and I was like, I'm yelling stuff. So, and then I remember one other time, Danny Heatley was back on the ice for one of his first games back. Was against the Bruins after he had...
Jesus, what'd you say to him? He deserves whatever he gets. You should be picking on guys with cancer.
He got in a car accident. He was drunk, and his teammate died, and he went to the hospital, and I think he went to jail, or he was suspended for... He was
I read that was a long time ago. Danny Heatley probably screwed up his whole career and his marketability because he was... I don't know if
he was either on the cover of NHL that year or the next year. I don't remember.
They removed him halfway through. Later copies of that year NHL were actually removed and replaced by another player.
He was missing the tooth on the cover.
Yeah.
Now, so we started yelling. Not me actually. Believe it or not, it was one of my friends. Was really, he was like, "Way to kill your teammate, Heatley."
Oh God.
Way to kill your teammate, you fucking murderer, Heatley. And he's yelling all this crazy stuff. And there's these people in front of us, and at the time the Bruins weren't doing too well. Yeah. There weren't a lot of people there. It was just after the lockout, I believe. And after the lockout, it really was weird around here. Half the stadium was full. But in front of us were these 7 people who appeared to be together, and you can notice them because there wasn't a lot of people around. Mm-hmm. And one lady, they weren't wearing Bruins gear, and one of the kids, I think one of the younger guys, and someone else was wearing a Thrashers jersey. Yeah. And then to the right of him was just people dressed in normal clothes. I'm pretty sure it may have been his parents. Because the lady turned around at one point and said, "Could you stop saying that?" And she was crazed looking.
Well, yeah.
And then the guy with her rubbed her back and she turned around and she was like looked distressed.
Jake pissed off Marty Brodeur's dad. Yeah.
Had what?
Jake pissed off Marty Brodeur's father at a game.
Really?
I guess he was having a rough night.
At least this was the opposing team. We didn't like them anyway. We didn't.
Well, I don't think what happened is I guess he's sitting right behind him. He's like, yeah, no, Marty doesn't look too sharp. And then his father turned around and gave him a look of death. Harry, how dare you? This is the great Brodeur.
I'm taking pictures of him. He looks good.
Yeah,
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. I'll be like, wait, come on. You got to criticize him a little bit, Dad. That's how he got here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jake wouldn't say anything as horrible as what you said. I got to be honest with you, though. When it comes to Heatley, look, that other thing, I don't condone what you did.
I didn't do it.
Oh,
it wasn't
or whatever your friend did.
I was just around the person. I mean, at one point we had to be like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up.
With Heatley, here's what I'll say about stuff like this and people that do stuff like that. Craig McTavish did something. He did time for manslaughter. A lot of people don't know that.
I'm sure he did.
The thing with Heatley is I don't care if they're going to give him a hard time. I wouldn't do that myself, and I've actually used him as a joke. I mean, I've used it as a joke several times. I'd rather get a ride home from Danny Heatley.
But you know what? It was an accident, so that's why I wouldn't yell it, because it wasn't like he was like, I'm going to kill my teammate. It was they were drinking, or he was drinking. He shouldn't have been driving. The other guy knew it. They were both in the car.
Yeah.
Just a couple reckless guys, and one of them ended up paying for it with his life. And that's
but you know
all
what?
it was.
You know what a part of that payment is? Public humiliation for the rest of your life.
Right.
And I don't like Danny Heatley. I think he was lazy when he played for Ottawa. He looks like, I mean, he's like Todd Bertuzzi. He looks like a cop trying to just hang on for that 1 year of pension. He's pathetic to look at now, and I don't like him. I
think Bertuzzi deserves whatever he can get. I think he deserves.
He's getting it because I think when he leaves the NHL, and I think that's why he's dragging it out at this point. I think Todd Bertuzzi, which his trial starts this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they're going to steal. They're going to steal. I shouldn't use that word. They're going to take a lot of money from him, and I think he knows that, and I think that's why he's staying on. So I don't care if you make fun of Todd Bertuzzi. I don't care if you say horrible things about Danny Heatley. That's fine. I'm not recommending people do that, but you know what? That's a part of fucking your life up. So screw those guys. Hey, let's go over and see what's going on in the rest of the league and what have you. This is what interests you. NHL 15 is coming to next generation consoles. I guess the vote hasn't been announced already as far as who's going to be on the cover. The cover this year.
I give up on the covers, by the way.
You don't vote for the covers?
I don't give a damn anymore. No, they won't put a Bruin on it. I'm actually
I got good news for you, and we're gonna push this on your show and my show. The players that are up for a vote are Drew Doughty, Erik Karlsson, PK Subban, TJ Oshie, Phil Kessel, Logan Couture, Matt Duchene, and none other than Patty B, Patrice Bergeron. Really, one of my favorite players. So we got a shot. And if he does some, and think about this, Patty's still in the playoffs. So if he does something amazing, does some real magic, which he tends to do, this could we could actually see a Bruin on the cover.
I feel like he's not the sexy one. You know what I mean? I could see Phil Kessel. Mm-hmm. I could see, PK. I'm just worried about that. And I think the ship has sailed. I think Tim Thomas should have been on the cover of it already, but the game's made in Vancouver and they're still angry at us, so that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think this thing's fixed? Because a lot of people say it's fixed.
Oh, yeah, it's all that's why I don't even vote. I think it's a bunch of horse shit. Really? If it was real, you would have put the original 6 Bruins on when they had won the cup finally. Yeah, and after that, Tim Thomas, one of the best goalie seasons ever, I said, this is time to put a goalie on. This is it, Tim Thomas. He hasn't been a goalie in a long time. Bruins haven't been on in a long time. This is it. This is the Bruins. They're going to get the cover. Nope. Just like the Patriots never got the cover of Madden because John Madden hates them.
John Madden hates the Patriots? Does he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, the best thing was, remember the Super Bowl where the Patriots won in 2001? John Madden was like, I don't agree with this at all. They should be taking a knee here and go to the locker room. And then they just drove down the field and won the fucking game. Take that, John Madden. He hated them when they were an expansion team. He didn't like the idea of it, and he's never liked them ever since then.
Well, I think Madden's we're all going to put him to rest.
I mean, I think certain teams are due to be on this cover of the game. Vancouver's been on. Yeah, I mean, it will enrage me if Montreal's on the cover.
It could be PK. Very easily could be PK.
Be PK Subban, especially with a lot of the race stuff going on recently, and then if they had gone on, I think if they had gone on the cup, maybe. But now I'm convinced it doesn't matter. It could be Phil Kessel.
I don't know how anybody wants. Well, I mean, look. Honestly, let's take a look at this real quick. Let's take a look at this real quick because I don't think you're 100% correct. Doughty, few guys outside of hardcore assholes like me know who he is and how important he is to his team. Bergeron, all right, he plays in a big market, but he's a quiet man and he doesn't seek the spotlight. Erik Karlsson very well could be on the cover. He's a super duper star. PK, I suppose the racial thing, but PK's sexy. He's got big personality. And one thing I really liked, and I think it impressed a lot of people, the first thing PK says when they ask about his racist tweets, the racist tweets he received, he says, don't blame this on Boston. It's a great town. That's class. His post commentary is unbelievable. Yeah. He is totally like what I want, the Bruins to say, what I would say as a player too, which is like, I would never want someone to go overboard on me and blow something up or call the police even, Montreal fans. And he is totally the opposite of that. He is total like down to earth. No, they're not like this. Just some psychos on Twitter. Yeah, he's totally realistic with everything. It's probably mostly friggin' kids. It's probably 13, 14 years old. What are you going to do? Ruin their lives because they wrote the N-word once? I mean, that's horrible. I'm not going to sit there and make light of it.
Funnier. They should be probably talking about who these people are on Twitter because it's most likely the parents who are sitting at home are going like, wow, that's just terrible. It's probably your kids.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I was doing some research on that too. When you remember the racist tweets at the end of 2012 with Joel Ward that also came from Boston fans as well, and they tracked down. You have no anonymity on Twitter or anywhere else or on Shot from the Point or what have you. what ended up happening is they went to this kid, probably in Quincy. They went to this kid's house, and his mother answered the door, and she told the reporter, "You're not talking to my kid." And he's like, "Well, did you realize what he went?" "Yes, I do realize what he went. He's a minor. That's the end of the story. He's a minor. We're dealing with it in-house," which is pretty much all you could do in that kind of situation. But, you got to know that you don't have the anonymity unless you're under 18. And even then, you might not have it, and what have you.
Yeah.
Everything all right over there?
No, me? Yeah, I'm good.
Kirk Muller was fired this week by the Carolina Hurricanes. Kirk Muller, former Montreal Canadian, and I remember he acted like a big baby when he was traded to the Islanders in the 90s. Not a big fan of Kirk Muller, but he was wicked on a faceoff. The Ted Lindsay Award would be given out to most likely Sidney Crosby. Well, why don't I have this in front of me? Okay, I'm sorry. Ted Lindsay Award possibilities would be Ryan Getzlaf and Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux, he turned his season completely around after not scoring for a month. I mean, I thought that was amazing. Ted Lindsay Award is given to the most outstanding player. What the fuck does that mean? Most outstanding player? Is it like, I don't know, most valuable player?
I guess so.
That's
I mean,
so stupid. The awards are stupid.
Yeah,
and knowing that hacks
big.
like Greg Wyshynski that could never stand on two skates with training wheels on them, vote on them just gives me all the sickening. I'm not going to get into it. Thomas Hertl. You remember Thomas Hertl, Joe Cronin?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, well, he's the one that did behind the skate over on Marty Biron when the Sharks pounded the New York Rangers earlier in the series and ended Marty Biron's career. They sent him to the Myers, and he quit, and he moved on to TSN. Well, Hertl's on his way to the Worlds over here in Europe. Where actually, it's going to be in Prague, the Worlds, and Marty Biron sent him a nice little stick in the mail, all in good fun. Let's give you a little picture of Marty Biron right here. Or Thomas Hertl, who is a future star in the National Hockey League. There he is with a big smile. Good luck to the Czech Republic in the Worlds. We'll probably be reporting on those pretty soon too, because that's coming up. And I'm the only guy. Well, I wouldn't say the only guy. I like doing stuff on the Worlds. I think that it's an interesting tournament. If you get eliminated in the first round or not make the playoffs, what happens is you usually end up going to play for your country. We got to do this. I got audio. By the way, we're doing the news. Can you tell?
Yeah, we transition here.
I may quit that whole sound effect thing. Just get right into it. I liked our conversation about hockey, and now we can goof on the news. That's the way I see it right now. All right, I'm gonna play this if I can get this going, and my computer doesn't blow up because it's always on the verge of completely exploding. But the USA hockey team, who under 18 team U18 team actually beat the Czech Republic in Finland this past week, and they got the gold medal. And congratulations, that's a good sign for USA hockey. And they have this this little chant, and I think it reminds me of the Army. Let's see if I can get it up here. Reminds me. It really. Here we go.
USA! Oh mama, don't you cry! Oh mama, don't you cry! USA hockey is do or die! USA hockey is do or die! Put a hockey stick in my hand! Put a hockey stick in my hand! Send me off to foreign land! Send me off to a foreign land! Dan said I'd be a star! Dan said I'd be a star! Then I go very far! Then I go very far! Put some Gatorade in your glass! Put some Gatorade in your glass! We just kicked your...
There you go, boys. That got me so pumped up.
Oh my God,
that was great, wasn't it?
Send it to Iraq.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I know like people go nuts when athletes, and I understand this when they compare themselves to servicemen. But I always like to remind people while it's especially like through basic training and the way they train, there is some similarities there. Now, it's a lot different playing hockey for $1 million and risking your life for $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
But
it's the mentality of.
It's the mentality. It's the mentality.
And if anything, like my comment, like send those guys to Iraq. If anything, it's a compliment to the Army men because I feel like those guys are already like that. So for a hockey team to be that fired up to me is
I'm fired up. This show's taking a turn. I can feel it. I do. I'm fired up by that.
How about that guy, the one that was leading it? I mean, he said, God, man, that guy's good. Someday, if that thing ever went viral, that video went crazy viral for some reason, like that guy would get invited to for $10,000 to pump people up for their wedding or something.
Yeah.
You're getting married to Sarah.
Remember when you used to bang chicks in the locker room with me? Yeah. Man, that's really good. What else do we got in the news? Of course, Mark. I'm sorry. What?
With the bridesmaids. Throws a glass down. He's 40 years old, still doing this performance.
I'm actually surprised. That's from USA Hockey. I'm surprised they even with the feminized world we live in now. I'm surprised they even allowed that. Apparently, the chant goes all the way back to the '90s somehow. I even got a video
put that in German, and that's some scary shit.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I when I go to soccer games over here.
Yeah,
and I hear the chanting, which it would be the same thing as doing that. It's like no big deal. And
it's like it's in tongues.
You hear Germans do it, and it's creepy, and that's not fair. And it's totally bigotry, but it's still creepy. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah. No, I know. I think it's funny because they could be saying we love the world so much, we're gonna work hard. They could be making a song about how they want to help.
And it sounds like they're invading Poland.
You have no idea what they're saying, but all you hear is "Los Stinking Unterbahn." I'm oh my God, Jesus Christ, he's back.
I know. I've had to teach my girlfriend that's how they're. It's first of all, it's wrong. I'm gonna tell you right. I obviously I'm gonna stick up for Germans.
This is real quick. This is something I want to tell you and anybody who thinks this about Germany.
Sure.
I just watched Django Unchained for a second time.
Yeah.
And you seen that?
Yeah, of course.
So the tooth guy, the guy from Germany,
the hero,
that guy, right? He's just such a nice guy. If he does he's a bounty hunter, does these terrible things, but you love this character. And but he's so proper and cares, and he doesn't see slavery, and all that stuff. And then another nice guy I was listening to the other day was Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
The Fonz.
And I started listening to him, and I was like, he sounds like somebody, and I can't figure out who he sounds like. And this was last night. And I realized he sounds exactly like that guy in Django Unchained. And it's because Henry Winkler's parents came here from Germany.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yes. And
I didn't know
has
that.
That same, although his is more Americanized, now he has that same sort of tone, the way he speaks.
Yeah, and it's a little feminine. It's a touch of femininity. I'm not saying either guy's gay.
Right. It's a touch of femininity. And I also sold windows to a dude who was German, and he was almost he spoke English, but it was tough. But the way he spoke, it was just very respectful, calm, smart.
Yeah.
And just open-minded. That's what I got. So the Germany that anybody that still has these ideas of Germany and the guy building steel boats and he wants to, and they're very quick to judge and racist, or they're still hung on any of that. It is nothing like that.
No.
If anything, it's the opposite. No,
they're first of all, Germany is a very liberal country compared to the United States. It is a very open immigration policy. I mean, a lot of stuff the Germans do, I don't necessarily agree with, but they look out. They're extremely respectful. They have a code. They have a culture. And the 12 years that the Germans were kind of wrapped in this horrible event was an aberration of their culture overall. Yeah. German men tend to be laid back, easygoing. Yes, it's a very nice day. Now, let's just go out and have a beer and then maybe watch the game and hey Hans, fuck you. Okay, yeah, sure, okay, no problem. I mean, they don't get upset like that. In fact, the only time a German gets upset is if you run out of fucking beer. Then you got a problem.
Okay, so they do.
They don't like
they're like the opposite of Irish people. Until
they don't
you
like
said
the
that.
N-word. They don't like the N word, the word, and that'll really shut them down. That makes them upset. I don't know if it doesn't get them to throw it. It kind of disarms them really, and they just if you run out of beer, there's going to be a problem because you should have had this prepared.
Yeah, like it's almost an insult.
Yeah, it is. It is to them. It is. It's the only time I've ever seen a German get mad enough to throw a punch since I've been here, and I've been here almost a decade.
What situation were you in where somebody ran out of beer?
I was at a when I was living near a village, and everybody was really plastered, and they had something called cob. I can't. It's sort of like a fraternity, but for your town, and I'm not saying it correctly. And somebody, it's like any fraternity, you have people that you count on to bring, and they were running low, and I swear to God, this guy, they had a big like a fire, like a bonfire. They almost pushed him in. It was that serious. I mean, this is a guy that if I stole his sister for a date, probably wouldn't say a word to me. If I grabbed his girlfriend right out the club and said, "Why don't you hang out with the army guys, not these lame ass Germans?" He probably wouldn't say a thing. Run out of beer, you got a problem.
Wow.
And and we are talking about the area of Germany I live. Munich and Bavaria is a whole different deal. Those guys are like the Texas. It's like the Texas of Germany. They'll kick your ass. Moving on. Marc-Andre Fleury, we're going to go over to some of the games right now, gave the Penguins a 2-1 lead early in the series with a shutout. Fleury has shown signs of, I wouldn't say brilliance, but being able to shut down the Rangers offense. And I guess it's not really hard to shut down the Rangers offense when Rick Nash can't score a goal.
Yeah. Who's looking good in Columbus right now?
Yeah. That gets me to something later. I didn't know about this. Did you know Corey Perry squirted water into Jeff Carter's glove?
Yeah, I saw that. See, that brought that. I immediately thought of that when the Thornton thing happened. But I guess that was
a little more playful, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just two guys screwing around. Yeah, but I guess there's no fine there. You know, that's one way to look at it. I don't know if that's a really big deal, though. Let's see what else we're getting to. What else we got in the news? Jack Adams Award nominations are Mike Babcock, who I don't think deserves it, John Cooper, and, of course, Patrick Waugh. I think Patrick Waugh's a slam dunk. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think Patrick Waugh.
And I don't think John Cooper should get it.
Though.
I don't think John Cooper should get it because Tampa Bay Lightning are stacked. They have been stacked. I'm glad he's getting the most out of them now, but that probably should have happened a lot earlier. Tampa Bay Lightning. But I think Tampa's a team of the future. Ex-NHL ref Kerry Fraser declares the Mighty Ducks Flying V is completely and totally legal. I'm totally relieved.
Wait a minute. It's legal?
It's legal.
Well, why wouldn't they do it?
Well, that's a good question. I would love to see Milan Lucic lead the Flying V. Would you?
Oh, yeah, the Bruins could do it for sure. You put Milan in front there, you'd probably take two people out with him. You ever see the highlight of him after he runs over Ryan Miller and then two of the Buffalo Sabres feel like they got to do something and he just holds the both of them aside and then shoves both of them back and then their heads snap back?
Let me tell you something. Lucic, with his behavior lately, I got to be honest with you. I love Lucic, but I'm losing it. And I wouldn't feel bad if he lost a fight badly.
When he first came into the scene, it was you have to paint the picture. When he first came on the scene, he did not lose a single fight, and he probably fought 30. He probably had 30 fights his first season.
Has he even ever lost? I don't think I've ever seen him lose a fight.
He's lost. He's lost. I would say Lucic's record. This is just a guess. This is off the top of my head, a guess.
Yeah.
I think Lucic is probably like, and we'll go win, loss, tie. How about that? Just like the NHL would.
We should probably check hockey. You probably should check hockeyfightsdotcom. I think they have a stat.
You know what?
Like that.
I will check it now, but I'm going to guess before I check it. Okay. I'm going to say Lucic is 50 wins.
50 wins.
8 losses. Mm-hmm. That may be a little high. 50 wins, 8 losses, and maybe 10 ties or something. So 50, 8, and 10.
He's a tough bastard, but I think I want to get his ass beat. I think that's what I want to see. I don't want it to happen now. I want it to happen next season because I'm getting away the Bruins now.
It's been going both ways because he's been getting So first he was just hitting everyone, and he was fighting, and he was sticking up for the Bruins the way they needed it. The Bruins needed it,
Sure.
and I was like, "Go get him, Lucic! Get these assholes!" And then all of a sudden they found out, he can score, and then he stopped hitting and fighting because he was their leading scorer.
Yeah.
So then he couldn't do it anymore, and now it's become some kind of blend. And I think the other day, and then he was scoring in the playoff series too. So he kind of it's kind of a mixed bag with him now, where you don't know, is that he's going to show up hitting people? Is he going to? But when he plays his best, he's hitting people. He'll fight someone, and he scores.
Yeah.
So for him, I think it's easy. In fact, I don't know why he doesn't go out there and step over the line a little bit. As long as he doesn't initiate the dirty play, as long as somebody else did something to him first or to somebody, and he's retaliating. Because I like to see so let's say some other dude hits one of the Bruins in the nuts with their stick.
Yeah.
I think Lucic goes out and takes a piece of him.
Sure. But you think at this
wanna
point
see.
where,
I don't see him running around hitting people in the nuts.
Well, no. But you think at this point with Lucic, it's like he's such a fearsome, he's a scary guy. I mean, let's face it. He knows there's not too much of a challenge out there for him, and he's being a bully. Is that possible?
I really want to say that he's been more of a bully in years past. I feel like he's kind of getting softer now.
He's getting older too. What happened?
Yeah, he's being a little. Even his interviews, he's a little more like wiser than he used to be.
Well, you got to make an impression when you come in as a rookie. Sometimes you got to act crazy. All right, moving on. Peter Laviolette, former Flyers coach, hired by the Nashville Predator. He will replace Barry Trotz, who was there. God, he was the only coach there the entire time of the entire Nashville franchise, which I really... Wow. Did people go to games over there?
Nashville?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it always does look kind of packed. But
yeah, it always is fairly filled. I mean, then I had Dallas people telling me on YouTube, nobody gives a shit about hockey in Dallas. I'm like, well, then why the hell is your stadium filled for every game?
I think that Dallas has managed to build it. First of all, they won Stanley Cups over there. And they had one of the best American players, one of the best players you could have had over there, Mike Modano, for years. I think they have quietly built, maybe they're not growing the fan base, but I think that fan base is going to games, and they're finding ways to go. I've always thought Dallas has done a very good job. Never wanted them to leave Minnesota, because just not having a team in Minnesota for so long was a joke. It was a laughing league. You cannot have a National Hockey League without a team in Minnesota. It is the heartbed, one of the three M's, the heart of hockey. There's so many players from Minnesota, American players from Minnesota. But that being said, I think they've done a good job, and you never really hear Dallas in financial problems that I'm aware of. So if somebody calls me in or something, and will say, "Oh no, they got lots of financial problems." I didn't know any of that. Nicholas Helmersson, the Swedish guy. He actually took a puck to the throat in Game 3 versus the Minnesota Wild, and he couldn't talk. He was actually told that he could not speak. This was about 4 days ago. If there's an update on that, I'll let you know. Maybe later in this broadcast, because I really didn't do much prep.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, we do that here.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what do you want? You want something professional? Go listen to Greg Wyshynski. Listen, look at all those wonderful Yahoo clips with his stupid ass grinning, and he's probably drunk half the time. We got to talk about. We're talking about the ups because the Bruins are up in the Bruins are up in their series right now. But the big in Game 3, PK Subban, he threw this sort of wild hit into was that Lucic and knocked down. To Riley Smith. It was on Riley Smith, and actually took Thomas Vanek out for a period. This led to an amazing breakaway goal when Subban got out of the box. And I think this Game 3 kind of served up a wake-up call for the Boston Bruins. Even when they take beatings, they're able to come back. But and I mean, it shows you. We're kind of going over the same thing over and over again. That PK is just involved in everything, good and bad.
I thought that hit was a clean hit, and I also don't think Riley Smith dove either. I think he got his head rattled.
Let me see,
because he looked up at the last second.
You know what it is? He just lets go of the puck. The puck is about 7 feet or 8 feet away from him when contact's made. But I mean, you can't just get rid of the.
Well, I
don't know. That's a tough call.
Could have really hurt him, and he didn't. He kind of let up a little bit, but still rocked him a little bit. So I feel it was a clean hit, but also that Riley didn't dive, which some people were Canadian fans and also the media. even
First
was
of all,
like, you, think
you
he was
can see
diving a little?"
clearly that
about?
Lively doesn't dive. Let me put this. I got a G right here. I don't know if you can see it in the show. That's completely stupid. And maybe I can zoom in right here. I don't know if I can do this on. God. Let's see if I can get this right. I'll put the GIF up. Bum. I'll put this a little closer. First of all,
Riley's
when Riley
is more known for that.
Riley is literally on one skate. No, he's turning his body. One skate's off the ground when he makes contact. He actually Riley kind of left his feet a little bit just for a second there. Before he takes contact. So that's ridiculous. That's stupid. Whoever said that was dumb.
Yeah. So I was cool with calling it both ways. I don't know.
Yeah, you could go. That's what we were talking about before, Chuck. You know, it goes both ways, and that's the way it goes. Later that week, if you could believe this, Game 3, Blackhawks, Wild. None other than Ilya Briskalov manages the blank after what's his name? Kempfer? Sean Kempfer?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I think it's Kemper. I think they've been saying Kemper.
After Sean Kempfer went down with an injury in the last series, or actually early in this series. Well, no, wait a minute. Has Breeze been in all 3 of these games? Yeah, I think he has. He managed to blank the Blackhawks, and they have since pulled 2-2. Good luck to I don't know. I don't want. Good luck to that. Fuck Minnesota. I don't care. I want the big teams in the final in the West. I want to see Chicago there again. I'll be perfectly honest with you. We talked about Lucic on nauseum. He was accused this time of spearing Alexei Emelin again, the guy he speared earlier just before the playoffs started, but nothing went through.
They've been battling each other
I don't know.
for a while now.
Here's something.
I wish they just fight. I wish they just fight now.
Just fight. Yeah.
They've both done things like Emelin's done something stupid to Lucic. I've seen it twice. Mm-hmm. I didn't see the spear that Lucic did, but I'll just call it even that they've both probably done enough things to each other to equal it out. It seems like that's what they do. Yeah. One does one thing, the next time it just keeps going back and forth. Just fight already, I think. Yeah, even if it's the playoffs, I don't care.
Throw down. Stop with this pansy shit. Just throw down. Merrick Malik. Ranger fans will remember him as the guy who was in what's generally considered the greatest shootout of all time. He's 38 years old. He's been playing in Europe the last couple of years, and he just decided to bag it. If you get a chance, I may even put the link below after this video is encoded. The New York Rangers in 2006 versus the Washington Capitals. They have this spectacular shootout. I am not pro shootout. I don't care if it goes. It's probably done. It's amazing. This shootout is fun. Olaf Kolzig, former Capital and German national, is in goal. Jaromir Jagr's there. And Miracle Malik, I'm not going to tell you the ending, had a special part, and you got to see it. And good luck to Merrick Malik. It's a good career, both in Europe and in the NHL. And we say goodbye to Merrick Malik. Are you familiar with that shootout, Joe?
Yeah, that was the one that, well, you didn't want to give away the ending. But,
screw it. I don't care. I was just trying to be
beat him over the shoulder, I think, with a wrist shot.
It was behind his. He did a hurdle. What he did.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
With the behind the back, over the shoulder, stick under his own legs. He rid the Harry Potter broom. Number 8, I believe Merrick was. And I remember that because I was watching the game. I was watching that game when it happened.
That was a long time. God, it's almost 7 years.
2006. Ago. He was a tall ass guy too. He kind of reminded me of. I'm not saying I don't know if his skills. He kind of reminded me a little bit of Blake Wheeler on the Jets now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Except for he finished it. But he kind of reminded me of Blake Wheeler. Same tall type of thing. Had that skill.
Let me ask you something. Do you have because I'm getting these buzzes coming through. Is Jesse retweeting your stuff? And you're getting that Star Trek sound in the background?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's my phone.
So I'm getting the shit over here. So now I got to turn it volume. Because
I'm
Jesse's really pushing us right now because he's a great guy. Big supporter of my show and, of course, the Joe Cronin show. Wrestling. You're a big shot in YouTube now. God. How does that make you feel?
I don't feel. I don't know. I guess I don't feel different. I guess see, you know what it is it never ends because now I'll upload videos.
Yeah.
And I'll see that like 400 people watch it, and I'll be like, damn it, why haven't fucking 3,000 people seen this?
Yeah,
already?
oh god, I know how that feels when you get like one of 10,000 videos or something like that, and then all of a sudden it's like it doesn't perform, and that's just the way it is being a YouTuber.
It's never gonna end. It never will end. Even if I had 1 million people, I'd be wondering why only 28,000 people saw the video. You know, it's the same thing. Yeah. I'm worried about my audience not being engaged enough. Last 2 videos are 400 and 330 views, and I got 6,000. I'm kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah, what are you doing? What do you got to do to keep those people? But I mean, it's like you said, most of these guys. I think 1 out of 100 subs are probably active. I mean, I hate to say that's probably even in the case for me as well, and what have you. Chris Kreider is cleared for the New York Rangers. He comes back. I'm
so pumped up for this game tonight. I'm really pumped up for tonight.
You know, I feel like I love this show so far, and I feel like I was actually going to go to sleep and watch it tomorrow because of. I think I'm going to watch a game though. I don't see how I cannot stay up. But see, the thing is, like, I'm trying to do this thing where, you know, because I'm unemployed now, so I got to get up at 6 and you know do the right thing and start looking for jobs and stuff like that. But it almost becomes impossible when I'm going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. But God, you know, I'm getting married this week. Who cares? Screw it.
And it's playoffs, you know, because it's the playoffs. So.
Yeah, but you know, it's just spooky when you have one person earning all the money. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like my house.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, I brought something to our relationship, and you know, we had to do this to kind of ease me into the German system and get out of the American one, and another thing is a big reason was for healthcare. But you know, there's this big fear that I'll become a bum with a beard and doing a hockey show all the time and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I'm sure it's a fear that's lingering in her mind as well. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But she's been great. And, boy, I sound like a total kiss-ass. Chris Kreider clearing for the Rangers. Of course, he came back. And there's rumors of a stadium series in Minnesota. I'm surprised they haven't done that earlier, come to think of it. Not have a stadium series. How do you not have it? They've had one in Boston. Of course, that was a huge one because what's-his-face? That German guy scored the big goal.
Sturm.
Marco Sturm.
Marco Sturm. I love Marco Sturm.
He was a great guy. Great guy.
No, nice German guy.
Nice German. Yeah, he's a real good guy. He just retired over here. I watched his retirement video in German when he retired for the Cologne Sharks, and he
because he came from the Sharks here.
Yeah, it's funny. It wasn't the Sharks. Well, you know, it's funny. You know, Marcel Gock is also he plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's also a German. And we were looking at his stats, and he's played for every single animal team. The Penguins, the Sharks, I can't remember the other team. Like, name an animal team, he's been on it. He's managed to be only on animal teams, the 4 teams he has. Oh, guess what we have? None other than Big Jake Link.
What's up?
What's happening with you? What are you doing?
Happy Mother's Day, you bitch.
Yep.
We're finishing up the news. You want to hang with us?
Yeah, for a little bit. I'm at my my sister-in-law's house right now.
Of course, we got Big Jake Link on the show, legendary Jake, our comedian and normal host. But he prioritizes family over the show, and that just shows you what kind of person he is.
I guess. Don't tell Jared. Don't tell Jared that.
Oh man,
family over the show.
Rick Nash being booed by Ranger fans. I'm surprised it took it long as it did. What do you guys think the problem with Nash is? Is it a head case? What's the deal?
Head case.
Head case. What do you got, Joe?
I think it's head case and his style of play.
Here's something interesting. His style of play. That's interesting. Why? What do you mean?
Because I mean, he's always fancy. He is fancy. He reminds me of Phil Kessel sometimes. With it's all about just get him the puck. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, I think going into Game 4, he actually led the entire league in the playoffs with shots on goal.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he's not trying. I don't know. And listen to this. This is by Greg Wyshynski.
Joe Thornton too.
And you know what? I'm glad you called in at the right time. All right, this is Greg. You called. No, I want you to listen. Listen real close, Jake. And I want you to know because you're in the New York area and you can tell me if this is BS or not. This is Greg Wyshynski. It's not that Nash is a bad guy, because he isn't. He's been a charismatic pro in every interaction I've ever had with him, even while wearing a mocap suit. Haha. But as a player, he embodies two traits that I generally loathe in professional athletes. One, he doesn't have the stones to tell their fans when they want out. And those who play worse when the games matter most. As you can turn that on and off. Are you hearing anything that Nash wants out of there, and that's why he's playing poorly?
I have not heard one thing about Nash wanting
out. So
out.
what are the odds of Greg Wyshynski just making this shit up? I got something to say about this. I'm glad if that's true, and it's probably because Greg Wyshynski made it up more than likely. I got to tell you something. I'm glad he has the stones to keep his mouth shut because it's team first. If he doesn't want to be in New York, that's fine. He can go and work out a trade with Slater and what have you. But you know what? What is he going to do? What do you expect him to do, you dumb bastard? You expect him to come up and say, I want out of New York. This place sucks. I want to go back to the Midwest where I can do nothing and nobody knows my name. You think that's how he feels? And if he does feel that way, that's something to be solved after the series is over. After the season is over. So where does Greg go? He doesn't have the stones. Let me tell you something, Greg Wyshynski. You don't have the stones to step up to me. Where do you get off saying NHL players? By the way, Rick Nash would wipe the floor with you. I'm mad. Where does he get off saying anything about stones? This guy couldn't make his fucking softball team. The girls' softball team. Where he went to Bishop R or whatever, goddamn New Jersey. And he's telling Rick Nash he doesn't have the stones? All right, the guy's struggling. Maybe he isn't a Broadway guy. But how the hell do you know? How the hell do you know? Because he doesn't really want to be there? Do you have any sources for that? Or are you just that shitty of a reporter? Dumb bastard. And you heard nothing. You've heard nothing like that, Jake, in New York. Nothing. Because I'm here in Germany.
No, I have not heard any of that in New York. I mean, I think the big problem is with him is he's a player with a big body, and he can't even
he doesn't play a big body game.
He doesn't even use it.
Well, the thing is, he's never used it. He's always been. He's the weirdest guy. He's got this, like fancy, more. I don't know. He takes the puck. He does a lot of things with the puck. He moves around players, but he's never played a big body game. Not in Columbus and not in New York. I never expected him to play a big body game. But it's tough to look at him and say, why aren't you mowing people down?
Tommy, say hi, Tom. Say
hi, Tracy.
You know my daddy. Say my daddy went to visit you in Germany.
Who?
My daddy went to visit you in Germany.
Yes, he did. Do you know where Germany is?
Hold on.
What the hell is going on over there? I'm in the middle of a fucking rant.
No, he walked up. He came outside, and I thought it'd be great if he just started talking.
That was the greatest timing ever. Yeah,
it's old school Matt.
Whether Tommy was going to start flipping things over, and then all of a sudden, the Children of the Corn came on. Like it was,
where the stones? Where does this guy talk? Where does this guy get off talking about anybody having stones? Do you have any information that Rick Nash wants out of New York, or do you have which is more likely that he's frustrated as hell and he's losing his mind and can't sleep at night, which is a lot more likely than I just want to go home back to my Midwestern town. He's not. Who knows? You're making shit up, Wyshynski. You're a liar and a fucking fat drunk. And I'm sick of that stupid look in your face.
And I just don't want to be here.
What's that? What would you say?
No, I'm still here.
No, the playoffs are going on, and he doesn't want to be there. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to believe now.
It just makes it up. I'm done.
If they had missed the playoffs this year after what happened to them last year, I would have believed that.
Here's some good news. This will make you happy, Joe. Matt Cook ready to return to the Wild lineup after a 7-game suspension.
Good. I hope he does come back because I hope somebody's there. I hope he's there to get hurt. Is what I'm really hoping for.
You know, I tell you something. I normally would probably correct you about guys getting hurt because that's one thing. That's like our big rule in the show. Me and Jake talked about it, but Matt Cook gets an exception. I don't care what happens to him.
He is the only.
I don't want him
one.
to get killed. That's about it.
Maybe he's just misunderstood.
Yeah, maybe he's a sociopath.
Maybe he's a sociopath. Maybe he's got a cabin somewhere up in northern Canada where he cooks squirrels and they eat the squirrels before they go around the local bars to look for a girl to rape. Because that's the kind of guy that I feel like we're dealing with here. But I could just be me. These are only my opinions.
Yep.
What was that, Joe, where we said you couldn't say things because you could get sued or whatever it was? And I just thought of that. It was like 7 months ago or something, but I just thought of it. Well, there's mine.
There's yours. Well, no, yeah. I don't care what happens to Matt Cook. I think the NHL. You know what? The next guy he hurts is on the NHLPA's head because they won't do anything to stop guys like this.
You know what? Maybe I take it back. Maybe I don't want to see Matt Cook get hurt. Maybe I want to see someone get paralyzed because of him, and then someone's going to have to answer.
Yeah. No, I don't think they will. You know what? You know who the answer will answer because they'll lighten the game and they'll pussify it even more.
And that's bullshit because it's just this guy and he's targeting heads. And the fact that what happened to Mark Savard and then all the things on top of what he's done after that, the NHL, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't care. All they care about is money. And so here's the thing. But I don't want to see the game dumbed down. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but it will if something like that happens.
You just have to use your brain when somebody's going out of their way to do these things. I don't even think Matt Cook should be out of the league. I'm not even one of those people. But I think that he needs to get more severely punished. Mm-hmm. And I think that the players on the ice need to go after this guy. That's what I think. I don't think I don't care. Keep him in the league.
Yeah, they need to bring up someone from the minors, like someone with a goon, like a fourth line guy on their AHL roster, and just take a stick to the back of his leg.
Hey, listen.
If I was on the Bruins, I wouldn't be able to control myself. I just think about Mark Savard not being able to skate with his kids, and I think about I was on the ice when he got hit with that elbow, and I would see Matt Cook out there, and I'd be like, every time we played him, I would attempt to injure him somehow. And and the fact that no Bruins have done that disturbs me. Still, it still eats away at me that somebody hasn't gone after him.
Yeah.
There's better people, that's all.
Yeah, they're better people,
I'm a
Joe.
sick psychopath. And
I got news for you. I disagree with you, and I'm going to tell you why. Because psychopaths never learn. Wackos like whack. And I'll tell you something. Who's the black Evander Kane, the black kid over in Winnipeg? Good guy, like him. Type Evander Kane.
He's on my hot
Matt
team.
Cook, Evander Kane knocked him fucking cold, like the bitch that he is. And did it help? I think it was before the Savard hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Because I would have heard about it afterwards.
Yeah, he knocked. Nothing's going to fix this guy. You know what's going to fix this guy? Lifetime banishment, 30-game suspension, 60. I mean, hey, it worked wonders for fucking Rafi Torres.
Well, the fact that Todd Bertuzzi's playing in the league right now tells me that that's not going to happen either.
No. And you know what? You know who I blame? I don't even blame the NHL. The NHL worries about what's the media going to think. And the NHLPA is looking out, well, we can't get suspended, otherwise we might lose our jobs. But by doing that, they're putting themselves in danger. It's the NHL players that should be the most outraged about this, but they're like, well, shit. I mean, if it happens to Cook, it could happen to me. No, it's not going to happen to you because you're not a psychopath like Cook. But I think because the game's so fast that, if something crazy happens, they want to be able to keep their jobs. I blame the PA. That's who I blame. More so than the NHL. Because the NHL is a bunch of pussies. Yeah. You're going to see a big change now that Brendan Shanahan's gone. You're going to see big changes over there. He was never making I don't think he suspended one guy. Everything's gauged on skill level and what the NHL needs and needs to quell the media. That's what I think. Matt Frazier scored a huge OT goal for the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Final. This is his first goal in the NHL. Congratulations, Matt Frazier. What do you know about this kid?
Well, I know that we got him from Dallas, and then he was pretty good in the minor league system. He scored a pretty good amount of goals in the AHL.
23.
And
you picked him up in the Sagan deal?
Yeah, they did. So they really, I think both teams struck gold with that.
Yeah, they really did. Because I think Sagan's a budding star over there. And you know what? You called it. I thought, let the kid go. He's never really adjusted. I think there's so much talent on the Bruins. I think it shows that Sagan kind of got left behind a little bit over there. And I think it's better for him to be over in Dallas. And I think it's better for him as well.
This system hinders him for what he should be doing.
Yeah.
It plays to his strengths over there.
Mm-hmm.
And but also the same thing is, it's funny, when we traded Kessel, people said the same thing. And it was like, seems to have worked for both teams. Kessel scoring 40 goals, but we won a cup.
Yeah.
And
there you go. Hey, listen. The team.
Get rid of him.
The teams that were involved in the Lindros debacle back in the early 90s all won the Stanley Cup, except Philadelphia.
Nice. Hey, guys. I hate to get you short. I'm going to get going, but
hey, thanks for
see you
checking
on
in.
Wednesday.
All right.
Thanks for taking in, and wish your mom a very happy Mother's Day.
Will do.
And tell her the shame that we have for you not showing up on the show and giving her priority.
I know.
All right.
What are you gonna
Bye.
do?
Hey,
Talk to you
listen.
later.
Before you go,
Yep.
before you go, I might as well have a personal conversation with you during the middle of the show. I'm going to be able to make it this Sunday because I'm flying in the afternoon from Denmark, so I'm going to be able to make it. I just won't be able to do monetize this weekend. So maybe you can, if you guys do a monetize this during the week, why don't you take Jake in my place?
Yeah, we'll probably do that either
Yeah.
Wednesday or Saturday again.
What do you think of that, Jake?
All right.
So,
yeah.
same
I
time.
just got to
I would love to
just
listen.
shore them up.
I would love to listen to a monetize chairman. Well, because I'm
Yeah.
going to Denmark.
Yeah.
I am going to Denmark. Let's see what else we got in the news. I think we're going to actually wrap this up. Take care, Jake.
Yep.
Take care. This is weird. Eat frozen treats made from NHL arena ice during playoffs. This is bizarre.
Wait a minute. What?
Let's listen to this. What? Yeah, this is up your alley. What do NHL teams do when their home ice, when the season is with their home ice when the season is over? Well, most just flush the melted moraines away. Others, like the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Chicago Blackhawks, bottle it up and sell it for charity. But what if you can actually taste the ice in your favorite of your favorite team shed blood and sweat and tears on? Oh my God. NBC's plan this week is they head to Minnesota-Chicago series in Anaheim to hand out ice pops made with fresh fruit at the local team's colors using purified water and ice from the team's arena. That's coming from Puck Daddy.
I can't even deal with this. I can't do this show with this on the TV. It's not even you guys.
What happened?
Tosh.0 is on in the background. I'm just like,
What happened? Oh, thank you. What happened?
A monkey's taking a shit, and the shit is like a foot long. And then he grabs the shit and he pulls it out of his ass, and he's holding it. He's looking at it, and then he starts to fucking eat it. And it's on TV right now.
While I'm talking about food.
And I'm laughing at the ice thing and the fucking chips, and then the monkey's eating his shit over there.
And I want to throw up.
Fuck the police.
And now I want to puke.
Just don't know what to do right now.
I can't believe they would show that on fucking on TV.
Like
American TV standards have really went to shit.
This is like a water balloon, like one of those long water balloons like, out of his ass. And he's just looking at it, and he's picking through it like he was looking for his keys that he accidentally ate. And then he starts to eat it. Just go. I'm telling you, tonight, anyone listening, go look up this Tosh.0 episode because there was a naked guy that fought the cops. He ninja kicked one, fell into the wall, did a rolling flip. It was the funniest fucking thing. I had to hold in my... I looked over in time to see it happen. Now I've looked over in time to see a monkey eat his shit. A gorilla,
Good for you.
I think it was.
I'm glad you enjoyed
and then
yourself.
I'm already laughing at your ice shit.
Yeah, I
Which
know.
are,
Now,
you know,
now I don't want to talk about it because I want to puke. Ugh. God. Getting towards the end, of course, the Rangers managed to scrap a Game 5 and force a Game 6, which they'll play in a few hours. And I think I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to watch their season probably end. Ugh. But there was some tragic news. Martin St. Louis' mother, and I don't know if there's any actual official word on cause of death, just basically passed away suddenly and quickly. She was only 63 years old. Martin St. Louis is about my age. And I don't personalize this, but, the only thing I could think of is, like, it was the first time I ever had a thought, boy, my parents are going to die one day. And because he's the same age as me, or he's like a year older than me. And I'm just like, holy crap. And his mom died. So he flew out to Montreal, and they decided that he should play. And that's the family, supposedly the family said it was all right, and he went back, and they scrapped out. And they scrapped out a game. He played very well, and the Rangers will be playing Pittsburgh in a few hours. This kind of brings me up, not on just the personal part of it. I was like, Jesus Christ, somebody could just drop dead. And I connect very closely with St. Louis because he's like the last guy of my generation. He would have been drafted in 1995 when I got out of high school. So, it's just like, yeah, because all the guys my age are going out of the league. And the thing that gets me is we've seen a couple incidents. Andrew Ladd of the Winnipeg Jets took time out for birth. So Martin St. Louis decided to play. If you remember when Ulf Samuelsson accidentally knocked out Wayne Gretzky's wife you ever see that one?
Oh my God.
Yeah, with the glass came through and he accidentally knocked out Wayne Gretzky's wife, and
Well-
Gretzky started to play. I mentioned the Andrew Ladd thing. There always is this tendency to kind of judge these guys like, well, he should stay home with his mother. He should play for the team. He should not watch the birth. He should stay home with his wife with the birth. I've got a new plan with this shit. No matter what it is, whether it's a birth or a death or a tragedy or somebody's got to go home. Dominic Moore took an entire season off because his wife died on the New York Rangers. Entire season off, up for the Masterson Trophy. Here's my new way to deal with this. No matter what side you're on, none of your fucking business. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all how you deal with it.
None of your fucking business.
And
You know what?
It's all different.
You deal with it any way you want. I'm no longer like, I don't care if they're in a playoff run. I don't care if it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. None of your business. Martin St. Louis, if that's what his family decided, and you know what? Even if his family didn't decide it, it's ultimately up to him. You know, because it's almost
I
like he had to
wouldn't
go
care
to
what
the
the
media and
family
said,
thought. It would
my
be
mom
my
would have
fault.
wanted this, to ask the media's permission so they don't savage him for not going to for playing in the game. And Puck Daddy, they stuck up for Andrew Ladd as they should have, because the Jets were in a playoff race, and that he's a very, very important player for that team, and he decided to stay home for his kid's birth. But you know what? If he went on the ice or he stayed home, none of your business. None of your business. And that's the way I'm going to deal with this. Am I off here? Or should we?
No, I agree with it. It's none of your business, and however they deal with it is how they deal with it.
None of your business. Good luck to
It's
Martin.
so different.
Good luck to Martin St. Louis and my New York Rangers.
I hope they do well tonight. I'm really going to be cheering for. Pittsburgh fans, but I'm going to be going for New York pretty hard tonight.
We are definitely a different generation of hockey fan, because we wouldn't be able to stand in the same room 30 years ago.
Yeah,
bizarre.
I mean, there's still something about the Rangers. I don't know if they played the Bruins. I told you about this before, that there's a bizarre feeling for the Rangers here that's not. It almost makes no sense. Like,
You know who's most shocked by that? Gordie Howe, when he did his book signing in New York recently, he was shocked about how many Rangers. Oh, my fucking hair is coming apart. Hold on. That's the most important fucking thing. Gordie Howe was shocked about how many Ranger fans say, you're my favorite player. My dad watched you when he was a kid. When I was a kid, I loved you. I have all your tapes. I had Gordie Howe tapes growing up. I'm still trying to get a hold of his last book. There is kind of a weird respect, but I don't think from what I understand, it wasn't like Gordie Howe was shocked by that, because going into Madison Square Garden,
we'll go over the boards and beat up some New York fans.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Milbury.
Beat them with a loafer.
That was great. You know what? I think most Ranger fans think that guy deserved it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really had anything to do with all the New York fans. I think it had to do with a couple of assholes, and that's about it.
And they jumped in the
It
stands.
happened in Boston. They could have thrown something at him. It could happen anywhere.
I always wondered, did that happen before the Slapshot movie or after? That's what I always wondered.
I think it happened before the Slapshot movie. I think Slapshot was like 79 or 78, I want to say.
And that happened in, let's be interesting
74,
to look up.
I think, 74.
It'd be interesting to look up on a future show and talk about that. I always wondered if that happened
Slapshot
first.
came out in 1977.
And the Milbury incident?
I'm looking that up now. Mike Milbury went into the stands. Man.
Yeah, if you get to it,
I'm
you
close.
can interrupt.
I'll find it in a second.
Yeah, you interrupt. Well, I just want to finish, because we gotta bag it, buddy. But keep looking. Max Pacioretty admits
1979,
What's
2
that?
Full after Slapshot.
It's interesting, isn't it? It probably happened in minor leagues before, and that's what the Slapshot was about. Great movie.
Yeah.
Great fucking movie. Max Pacioretty admits that Zdeno Chara shut him down. He says it's, quote, it's gut check time. That's Max Pacioretty, and it is duck. We haven't talked about Montreal. We talked about PK Subban. It is gut check time. It's time to see. We're going to find out what Montreal's made of. Not just we respect their skill. Time to dig in. Time to beat those Bruins. Don't get wrapped up in any kind of bullshit. Keep your penalties to a minimum. And how do you like those 2 penalties? What was that guy, Babchuk or whatever his name is? The guy who took the 2 penalties early in the second period. And next thing you know, it was 3-0 in the last game.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
What's his
I
name?
don't know. I don't even remember who took him. To be
Patrick,
honest.
but he's like their Bergeron over there. I can't remember his name. At least that's what Pierre McGuire said. It was kind of an anomaly for this guy to take
What?
2 bad penalties in a short period of time, and that pretty much ended. But honestly, if I was a betting man, I'm taking Montreal tonight, at very least tonight. or tomorrow. I'm taking Montreal tomorrow. I just don't see them losing.
This will be the toughest game. It has to be. They
It
have
may
to
be
make it the toughest game. Of
These
the
next
series.
2 games, I think, may end up like the Devils Rangers series in '94, like where Game 6 is legendary and Game 7, is legendary. You may have 2 situations. The only difference is it may be a situation where Montreal is the hero and maybe Boston's the hero.
It could be.
Game
It's
7. And that's the way I see that
definitely
series
more
going.
tilted in a way that I haven't seen before, where it's playing out to be like that almost. I'm really worried about it. I'm still worried. We have 2 chances, and I'm worried about them.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a close series, and may the best team win.
I am getting yelled at. I have to vacate the show.
You have to vacate the show?
Yeah,
All right.
What else we got?
How long have we been on?
It's an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, that's what we should try to make. Well, here's what I'll do for you, Joe. Joe Cronin. Let me just do an ad real quick, and I'll let you go, and then I'll finish the news up myself and say goodbye and what have you. Joe Cronin, the Joe Cronin Show. Check him out. That's www.joecroninshow, www.youtube.com/Joe Cronin. He has the best wrestling show with the encyclopedia in mind of Chris Tasevich. And you can check him out. It's a very funny, entertaining pro wrestling show. And he covers just about everything in detail and with Joe Cronin's special humor. And you can also, if you subscribe to that channel, you can be the privilege to get the great show, new show, Monetize This, where Chris Tasevich, I, and Joe have guy talk sessions and talk about stuff like gay sex and docking. It's really filthy and disgusting, but really hysterical too. Check it out. Joe Cronin of the Joe Cronin Show. How's that for a plug, buddy?
There you go. You did. I'm going to start doing better plugs for you.
Well, you do a lot for me, and I appreciate it. And say thanks. I thank your wife, and wish your wife a happy Mother's Day in all sincerity.
I will. No, she's actually not that bad. She's just kind of like, hey, what the hell? I thought we were like.
You gotta do. You know what? You gotta do what you gotta do, and you're subbing in for. It's a tough day to do it. Hey, happy Mother's Day. I hope if she can hear me. And you guys have a great one, and good luck to your team. And well, we'll see you around. I'll go finish this up because I want to finish. I'm actually kind of psyched.
Here we go.
You got me like really into
Rangers
this.
in Pittsburgh.
What's that?
And to yours too. It's time for Rangers in Pittsburgh and Los Angeles Kings. I think it's going to be Kings versus Chicago. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's going to be Bruins Rangers. I think hopefully.
And yeah, that's the way I'll end it up. All right, you get out there. You take care of that family.
Peace.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, that was Joe Cronin, the Joe Cronin Show, saying goodbye. And now you're with me. And we're going to get real intimate right here. It's just you. It's just me. It was really nice to Joe. Hey, look, it's tough to get guys on Mother's Day and Super Bowl and stuff like that. And we do it on Sunday. And maybe that'll change next year. But for right now, that's what we got. Let's see. What do I want to do? Let's see. We also know about, well, I'll do the thing with you. We also know is PK Subban intimidating guys on the bench. Let's see. PK's now he's taunting the Bruins on the bench. All sorts of weird and wild stuff are going on all over the place. And we got that there. Whatever. Now, see, I don't have the guy to keep the pace with me. Josh Gibson started for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. He replaces Jonas Hiller. He replaced Jonas Hiller. That's kind of a weird thing because, of course, Anaheim dropped their first 2 games. Gibson is a rookie, and he got a Game 4 start. And you can it's bizarre that Jonas Hiller, who I think is Austrian, if I'm not mistaken, and he's had a great season thus far, is getting replaced by a goalie. Real hero opportunity for Josh Gibson. Of course, the Anaheim Ducks are stacked. But they have had their playoff issues, sort of like the Sharks, and they're playing the Los Angeles Kings, who have that Stanley Cup. Ducks have one too, but it was a long time ago. It was like a year before I went to Iraq. It was a long time ago. The other thing that happened was we touched on a little bit before. PK Subban with his water bottle, or Sean Thornton spraying PK Subban with the water bottle. He of course got it in the face. And he complained, and of course Sean Thornton was quickly and rightfully suspended for his actions. Going into, I think that's just that it. Of course, in that game, Gibson got a shutout in that game for the Anaheim Mighty Punks, and he looked calm, cool, collected, and what have you. That's going to be interesting. We already got Sean Thornton, and I'll just check the major headlines. And I think we go. I think that's it. I think we're done over here. Anyway, yeah. Now if I can only click. See, I need the other guy to talk. It's obviously. Where's my freaking? There we go. Okay, let's finish this sucker out and say goodbye, because I think it's been a really good show and I enjoyed it. And I'm gonna watch that hockey tonight. I'm gonna watch that good old hockey game and what have you. All right, let's do some plugs. Of course, we had Joe Cronin plug before. Please go check him out if you're gonna do the old wrestling thing. But I got other things to plug. Make sure you check out me on the Joe Cronin Show. Monetize this. The show's hysterical. It's a riot. It's funny. It's everything I want it to be. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. We cover the whole news. I have to do the whole thing. I'm sorry. I'm have to. Hey, listen, if you like the music that's played in the show, there's one place to get it. It's johnfreemanmusic.com, johnfreemanmusic.com, johnfreemanmusic.com. John Freeman is the official musician of the Shot from the Point program. He writes all our stuff. He does a lot of things. He's an unsung hero of the Shot from the Point community. So, please check out johnfreemanmusic.com. If you were looking to do this whole podcasting, broadcasting, YouTube thing, this is the guy to talk to. Help move out of his parents' basement. It might be good. Check out www.johnfreemanmusic.com. That's right. I look like John Tortorella with the beard here, huh? Get married this week. Well, documents. We're actually getting married next year, but we're doing the documents so the German INS can't throw me the hell out of here and what have you. I get some health care and what have you and get a job and, earn my keep around this place. Homeless people can't have a YouTube channel, from what I understand. And what have you. Is there anything else I should plug? I can't even think of anything. Hey, listen, if you like the show, share the show. If you like the show, share the show. Share it with your friends. Go on Facebook and Twitter and Google+. And you also, what else you can do if you kind of dig the show, I hope, like I said, I hope you're hanging around with these plugs, because this is really important. You can go to our Facebook site, Shot from the Point and Other Crapola. Just go to Shot from the Point. Let's go to the webpage, Shot from the Point. Type it up here, right here. That's what you want to do. And it completes, and like us on Facebook, and that would be really great if you did that. I would be wonderful, and I would appreciate it. And it made me like you more, and what have you. Hey, what am I doing? Switch scenes. So check out Shot. You also catch me, Tommy C, SFTP, Tommy C, SFTP, Tommy C, SFTP. That's on Twitter. Give me a shout. Say hello. And we'd really appreciate it. We're looking for meme makers. We're looking for hockey personalities, people that have ideas and want to be a part of this. It's not just, hey, look, me and Jay can't do this alone. We need your support, and we need to grow it. And we also need you to kind of get what we're doing here. A goofy hockey show. Something where you kind of want to goofy your friends. And if you want like serious shit, then I don't know, go listen to TSN and Bob McKenzie or whatever. Don't come to me. I'm not laying advanced stats on you. It's not my bag. I'm not going to do that. It's not my thing. We actually added ourselves to Twitch, Justin TV, and Ustream. I don't know if I'm going to be broadcasting there because my computer can't handle it. But I am broadcasting on Twitch right now. You can check us out on Twitch, and the username is Shot from the Point Live. That's Shot from the Point Live on Twitch. Sub us over there. That'd be great because we're broadcasting there right now. It's seen to go, so we're probably going to stay on Twitch at the very least if they allow hockey shows. And I don't know if they do or they don't, and what have you, and what have you. So I think that's it, and I absolutely appreciate everybody hanging in there. I hope you enjoyed Joe Cronin. He's got a real different take on hockey. It's also, you kind of get to see a different side on him. Hope you check out Monetize This. Please sub Joe Cronin. Sub us right now. Check out for hockey highlights right here. Check out for if something big happens, I will break in. Hell, I might even break in tonight with a quick broadcast or a quick video or what have you. But stay tuned. The season's almost over. That means we're going to take a bit of a break. And I'm probably going to put more work into Monetize This or something like that, maybe. And we really appreciate everybody doing what they do. Especially a big shout out to Jesse J. Jesse J is the reason we're doing Monetize This. Jesse J has kind of brought, not that we were apart, but he brought me, Chris Tozovich, and Joe together to put this show because he saw potential in it, and I think we're actually getting some of that potential back. Big shout out to Jesse J, who lives in a lot of pain and a lot of suffering every day, but he does it with a smile, and I got to be honest with you, Jesse, this goes out to you. I've been actually really inspired by you lately. and some of the nice things that you've done for Joe and me, and I'm inspired by it. And I got to thank you for pushing us back to monetize this, because when you brought it to our attention, I just thought, it was just a thing. It was just a thing. Now I really love it. It's actually the thing I look forward to the most. And maybe even more than this show. Who the hell knows? But big thanks to Jesse J. Thank you very much, everybody. See ya. Peace. Love ya. Bye. Check out Shot from the Point live every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Tom the C, and I'm out.